Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Burns.
Yeah, Nancy Burns here.
And we're from Future Theater. And you know what we like to listen to?
Bang.
Radio on Sunday nights at 9 p.m.
At 9 p.m.?
What
Eastern.
network?
Oh, the best network on the whole entire internet. Inception Radio Network.
Radio host for Pang Radio, Mike Lucas.
Welcome everybody to Pang Radio. Tonight is Sunday, June 14th, 2015. Happy Flag Day to all you people. We are broadcasting live from the IRN North Studios, way up in the beautiful, beautiful northern Wisconsin area near Canada. I've been considered a Canadian by my speech, but you know, it is what it is. Welcome to Pang Radio. Tonight we have on Kevin Randle. We're going to discuss Roswell slides and any other topic, and we're going to actually open the lines. If anybody wants to ask Kevin a question during the show, we're gonna throw that out there. So my co-host Ken is hanging with me. Hello, Ken.
Hey, and happy Flag Day, and to all the men and women that serve our country. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Very, very. Ken, you got any shout-outs for us?
I do. First of all, I want to shout out to Doug and Christie, which is 130 miles downwind from where I'm at, northeast Oklahoma. Lou Lynn Simpson and her husband Bob out in New Mexico. Rosemary Jessup, and girl, I know you're listening in England. Thank you so much. And I want to say a shout-out real quickly to Dick and Marilyn of the Oklahoma UFO Paranormal Group. And folks, we're going to be doing a live seminar on August 3rd of this year. I urge you to tune in, because we're going to broadcast it on IRN, and you'll be able to see some of the cases and some of the equipment that we deploy when we do cases. So a shout out to all those folks. Thanks, guys.
Wow, that's going to be an amazing show, Ken. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good. We got some good cases, MJ, that we're going to exhibit. So yeah, I think it's going to be good.
I can't wait for that show. So there are many ways to listen to IRN. You can listen via our app on Android and Amazon and iPhones. You can listen to us on Twitter, figure out who's on the shows at I_R_N. Call into the listen line for you people without smartphones, 401-283-6700. You can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, TuneIn, the Roku box, Novex for Blackberries. I don't know how many people use Blackberries anymore, but not too many. That's okay, though. Live 365, and everybody subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's growing. Another way to listen to our shows. All our shows are being added there weekly by one of our great people at IRN. And I'd like to announce we have a new show coming on this Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern called Supernatural Girls. So they will be on right before Truth Funders, and then we got a triple lineup on Wednesday. So busy Wednesday on IRN. And a good show today, too, to our new show. We have Psychology's Outer Limits. Professor Eric Williams threw on a great show here before Pang Radio, promoting the hell out of tonight's show on his show. So we appreciate Professor Eric for that. Thank you for the shout out. And that's what I got for some office news there, Ken.
Yeah, and I think our listeners are going to find tonight's show extremely entertaining, educational, and informative. We have a great guest tonight, Kevin Randle. He's been on before. I have followed his work, his writings. He is a hell of a researcher.
Top notch.
I think that he's one of the premier people in the study of ufology, and we're going to be discussing some things tonight that I think are not only going to be provocative, but I think that will stimulate some good conversation.
And to stimulate your mind, if anybody ever wants to check out Kevin's work, you can go to kevinrandle.blogspot.com. I can't get the blogs tonight, but he puts.
Oh yeah, easy for you to say.
Yeah, whew, that's a tough one. But yeah, great information from Kevin. He posts on there almost daily. Sometimes it depends, like you said, when he gets to it. But good stuff. And tonight, a big controversy that we've been talking about, Ken, and then Lorna's not a big fan of, are these Roswell slides. What are your thoughts, Ken?
Well, in all honesty, I've been really silent, and I've been asked that same question on a number of occasions, and I've kind of deflected my comments and the questions up until tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
I agree.
Okay,
yep.
And I want to make this perfectly clear. Okay. And that is, I am an objective skeptic when it comes to UFOs, flying saucer. I don't like that term UFOs because that's a government term. But so I'm talking about ET and flying saucers, and I'm an objective skeptic. However, I believe 110% that we have been visited, we are being visited, and that certain ETs haven't gone anywhere. I think they've been around a very, very, very long time. But back to your question, MJ, and we'll bring Kevin in here pretty quick. There's a couple of things about the Roswell slide when they first broke the news and was putting it up on the internet and promoting the symposium that they were going to do. All kinds of red flags came up. And this isn't quarterbacking, Monday morning quarterbacking hindsight stuff. I was saying it quietly on the sidelines, if you will, a spectator. And there were certain questions I was raising. I can prove that because I was raising certain issues from the very get-go. And I'll save the rest of my comments until we get into the meat and potatoes of the topic.
Well, Kevin is on the line. Welcome to Pang Radio. Kevin, we're glad to have you back, and we're taking you away from something you really love tonight. We appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you very much, and I enjoy the opportunity to get to Wisconsin.
Nice.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's not that far from Iowa, is it?
No.
No, we actually are right across the river. A certain portion sort of abut one another.
Right.
So, Kevin, my first question is, why the name Roswell for the slides? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, according to Don Schmidt and Tom Terry, they never called them the Roswell slides. That was a name given to them by the skeptical community. But there was always the linkage between the slides and the crash at Roswell. And so the Roswell slides became sort of an easy catchphrase to describe what they were doing. I had started calling them not the Roswell slides or not Roswell slides simply because that's what Don and Tom had said. But it's this linkage between this was one of the alien creatures that had been killed in the crash at Roswell. Mm-hmm. That's what everybody sort of thought or wanted to believe. I had said, and you can go back and read the blog posting, so I actually have documented evidence that I thought this was going to turn out poorly from the very beginning, and mentioned that many, many times, and some of the reservations I had about the way things were developing.
And Kevin, sorry I don't mean to interrupt, but to interrupt, I vouch for what you said. I saw some of the postings that you did from the very get-go.
And, it was one of these deals, and it's kind of, a government-type thing. Well, we've got this information, we're going to keep it quiet, and we'll dole it out as we feel you deserve to hear it. And from what I was learning from people around this whole thing, it just didn't sound very good to me. And one of the problems was the lack of provenance. We didn't know where the slides came from. There was the story that they were found during cleaning out a house for an estate sale, and the slides were traced back to Bernard and Hilda Ray, but there's no evidence of that. They've got some slides with that name on it, but none of the slides, neither of the two slides had Hilda Ray's name on it or Bernard's Ray on them. we just didn't have a good provenance for them, and I always said that's going to be a major stumbling block unless you can prove where they were taken. And
who took them? I mean,
and who took them? Yes.
Right.
And how they managed to get into what would have been a highly restricted area with a camera, photograph this thing that's supposedly highly classified, and get out with the camera and film intact is just a mystery to me. And I hoped that they would have better explanations for all of this once they had the May 5th great reveal, but there was no answers to the questions. And so when we finally got a good look at the slides, I think it was clear to 90% of the people that what was shown in the slides was a mummy. Obviously a mummy from the desert southwest of the United States. And
I was one of those people when I first saw the slides that it had been photoshopped. Okay, and that didn't turn out to be the case. I think they are actual slides or actual photographs. But as you said, they're a mummified child.
Well, it's clear there's a real slide. There's two real slides, and it's clear. I think the slides were taken in the right time frame. The late 1940 time frame. I think that is probably true, but it's completely and totally irrelevant. I had asked Tom Carey back in December, I was trying to think of if the slides don't show an alien creature, what could they possibly be? And I went through a number of books I had on science fiction movies, thinking that maybe it was some kind of a construct for one of the movies, and I found nothing there. There's any number of science fiction magazine covers from the late 30s, early 40s to the 1950s where you've got lots of bizarre-looking aliens on it. So there was sort of maybe an inspiration, but the only thing I could really think of was it would be a mummy. And I asked Tom that specifically in December. I said, could this be a mummy? And he said, no, absolutely not. We've looked at 500 mummies, and it's not any one of those.
And it was 501 mummy.
What I'm thinking is that they were looking for the specific mummy as opposed to what do they look like.
Right.
And there's literally thousands of pictures of mummies online, from the Egyptian mummies to the mummies from the desert southwest, which wasn't, I guess, they didn't mummify their dead specifically, but the environmental conditions.
Well, you have the
desert southwest
Peruvian mummies too.
Pardon me?
The Peruvian?
Peruvian.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I just washed these lips. I can't do a thing with them. But yeah. I mean, you're right. You have all of these. Even the Chinese have mummies.
There's lots and lots of samples out there.
Right. Good point.
And I'm thinking when Tom said, "Well, it's not a mummy," I think he was speaking specifically. We haven't found that specific mummy, as opposed to, it looks an awful lot like mummies.
Right. No, I think that's a point well made. And this is where I sit, Kevin, and to our listeners, when somebody makes a claim and they tie it to Roswell, okay, and I'm one of these people. I think Roswell is the hinge pin of the study of flying saucers, ET, ufology, okay. I think Roswell is if you can destroy the evidence of Roswell and show that it was something mundane as a balloon or experimental craft that the Army Air Force was testing, then the air goes out of the study of ufology, and then we are back to square one. However, that's not the case. And so when you have examples that are tied directly to Roswell, I go over in the skeptic column right away. You're going to have to prove to me. I'm going to be the devil's advocate. You're going to have to show me. I'm going to be from Missouri. You're going to have to go proof beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm going to be the cop. Okay, you're going to have to show me that a crime was committed and these are the suspects. You're going to have to prove to me that this is the real deal. And that was never forthcoming.
We were promised that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we were told.
This is it. This is going to shift the paradigm. We've got the evidence, and when you see the slides, not the screen shot that we had starting in March or late February, March. When you see the actual slides, you'll understand what we're talking about. And we have all these experts lined up, anthropologists and biologists and all these experts lined up explaining what exactly you're seeing and why it's not a mummy. Right. And we've got all this evidence we're going to present. And when we get to May 5th, we don't get that. We get 3 guys. One of them's a good pal of Tom Carey. One of them apparently advertises on Jaime Maussan's television program in Mexico, and I'm not sure where they found the other guy. But we don't get a wide range of scientific opinion. We don't get good looks at the slides. I think they only really showed one of them, a good shot of one of them, not both of them. And what is really unbelievable is that we're told that this placard in the slide can't be read, and they've sent it to important people.
Well, there should have been all kinds of red flags on that one. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin and I were never asked to look at the slides, were you?
No.
Wow. Yeah, me neither.
I was cut out specifically.
Wow.
Yeah, me too.
But the thing was with the placard, we're told, well, we gave it to this Air Force officer and had the photo interpretation team at the Pentagon look at that. The photo interpretation team they're referring to is not at the Pentagon; it's at Fort Meade, Maryland. Their job is not to de-blur placards in slides. Their photo interpretation arena is somewhat different, so the fact they couldn't read it is kind of irrelevant. But once a better quality scan was available, it was de-blurred in a matter of hours, and it says mummified child.
Yep.
Right.
And this could have been resolved long ago had those quality slides been available to anybody who wanted to look at it. I mean, they're saying now, well, you see, they originally said it was script on it, and now they're de-blurring it and seeing block letters, but you go back and you ask the people about that, and they say, well, it's because of the blurring process, and the copy of the scans that we got, it looks slightly like it was cursive as opposed to block lettering. But when you have people around the world applying computer programs to this thing and getting the same result, you know what it says.
Hey, Kevin, I have a question for you. Do you think? I know you are. That's why I'm going to throw that. And hey, and I want you to know that we don't agree on everything, but I certainly respect your directness and your forthcoming. You're very direct, and you argue your point very well, and I want you to know I appreciate that. So my question to you, sir, you think it was intentional?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
But I will qualify that by saying it was Adam Dew and Joe Beeson who intentionally manipulated the data. I think Tom Carey is sometimes overly enthusiastic for the extraterrestrial hypothesis, and I think he allowed himself to be blinded a little bit by the possibility this would tie into Roswell. But I know that Don Schmidt was impressed by the scientific analysis that they were getting, suggesting it's not a mummy, and here's the reasons why. So I think it was Adam Dew and Joe Beeson. I can't believe that these guys didn't know really what it was.
What about Jaime Maussan?
Yeah.
I don't think he knew up front. I think that he was kind of sucked into this thing and was sort of caught off guard by how quickly the thing blew up. Once the slide was decoded, I know one of the things he was saying. Well, I want to see another slide, another picture of this mummy, and who was it? Somebody found a picture from a photo collection that was put up on the internet in 2008.
Well, and see, and Kevin, that's where you and I we split the sheets, because I think he did. Okay, and I think it was being promoted. I'm not sure I'm explaining this correctly. But I think it was being promoted as the ultimate to the Roswell issue. and it was going to put to rest the issue of ET and flying saucers and the smoking gun, if you will.
Yes, that it would be promoted exactly like that.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, think about that for a second, and that's the reason I'm playing the cop. I'm sorry, but that's just where I sit. Okay, I look for motive, and what I see that in order to be a promoter of something, you either believe in it or you're a snake oil salesman. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's and so if I'm promoting something, if I'm saying that Kevin Randle has the smoking gun and we're gonna exhibit it, next month on, we're gonna have a press conference. We're gonna invite all the major news area and all the skeptics, all the Phil Klosses out there. We're gonna exhibit this. Well, for me to do that, I have to believe that what you have is the real deal. And therefore, I would have researched it, investigated, talked to you directly. You're going to have to sell me that that's the real deal.
And I think that Adam Dew, and I think that Joe Beeson were doing that, selling it as the real deal. And
well, why wouldn't Hassan? I don't know. I'm simply throwing it out there, and I'm not being critical of him. But
I don't know Jaime Maussan. I know Don
I don't
Schmidt,
either.
I know Tom Carey, and I do not believe that either one of them would be party to a hoax, knowingly be party to a hoax. I think they were duped. I think part of the problem was I think part of the problem was they truly wanted to believe this. You've got the fellow in Albuquerque who had been at the air base back in 1947 who claimed to have seen the bodies, and he's shown a picture of it. He says, well, that looks like what I saw. And you've got some anthropologists who are saying that this can't be a mummy because the measurements don't come out and there are abnormalities to the body. So you've got that sort of thing going on, and I think that, at least in the case of Tom and Don, they were willing to believe. They wanted to believe so badly that they were overlooking some of the red flags that were flying. And as I said, the first thing that I thought of once we got more information about it was this lack of provenance. They were saying, well, I know that Tony Bagaglia was telling me that they had the provenance. They knew where they came from. It came from this Bernard and Hilda Ray. And once we got more information about it, we realized that there is nothing to tie them to those specific slides. We are told the slides were found in other slides owned by them, but we don't know that. There's no way to prove that.
Right.
And even if Bernard and Hilda Ray had taken the pictures, it didn't matter because we could not interview them. They were dead.
Right.
The chain of custody was broken. At the point, there was discussion about who owned the house the slides were found in at the time they were found. Had it been part of the Hilda Ray estate, or there was talk about her lawyer had owned it for a while? We don't know if it was vacant for 2 or 3 years.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Kevin, and those are all valid, good points. And so my question to you, sir, is why wasn't that done?
I don't think there's any way I don't think there was any way to really document any of that. That's the problem.
But you just asked all the right questions in order to validate those slides.
Yes, and my point is, I don't think they could do it once the slides appeared in Chicago.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, once the cat's out of the bag, it's a little bit...
Okay. You could not go back. You said, here's these slides. Can you prove they came from Hilda Ray's collection? Well, no, they really couldn't. We have pictures from the Hilda Ray collection, but we don't know these were part of it. The numbering sequence, how do they number? We were showed slides number 9 and 11. On the slides, there's 9 and 11. What's on slide number 10?
Right. Yeah.
Would that have given it away?
What about number 12? Yeah, exactly.
Or number 8. But I mean, what's important is you got 9 and 11, and 10 is really critical to understand.
Well, and that goes to the question I asked earlier. To me, that shows intent, that it was intentionally done that way, that it was being promoted as such.
And from what I understand from Don and Tom, they never saw the actual slides. They saw scans. And the same thing with Tony Bagaglia. He never saw the actual slides.
Well, then, but see, why wouldn't I'm sorry, and this is where
Yes, I know you're going with this. I can understand it. They should have demanded to see the slides.
Yes, exactly. Bingo. Bullseye. 10 ring.
And I know that when the slides were dated by the expert at Kodak, I think it was Adam Dew who was there, but neither Tom nor Don were there to watch the process and listen to what he said. I know that some of the skeptics, Lance Moody, for example, and Billy Cox, the reporter who runs the Devoid column down at in Miami, they both called the expert, and the expert was saying, well, I never really said it quite that positively.
That sounds like a backstroke to me, man.
But well, it could well be, but it's also I've noticed, and I try to be careful with this, that people will say something, and the best example I have of this is Clifford Stone told me that the Chilean Air Force had attempted to intercept a flying saucer. They fired on it, hit it, and there was no damage done. And when I got a hold of the documents, what they actually said was the Chilean Air Force intercepted it and fired on it with no results. Didn't say anything about it hitting it. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Yes, that was Clifford Stone's interpretation. They had hit it and it didn't do any damage, but they could have missed.
Well, hell yeah, exactly.
And that's an important point. So I think of the guy in the expert in Albany, New York, I think it's where Kodak is, saying one thing, and I think that Adam Dew may have misinterpreted what he said, and so when he was called on that, the guy in Albany said, well, that's not quite what I was saying, not quite what I meant.
Hey, Kevin, I got a question for you.
Another one?
I'm writing faster than you're speaking.
Got a lot of questions.
So we're not going to get to all of them, okay,
That's
Colonel? But let me ask you something. Do you think that there is legitimate bodies that occurred on the Roswell issue?
Yes.
Me too.
And I think there's photographs. We just don't happen to have any of them.
I am 1,000% on that. I think they exist. I think the bodies still exist. I can't imagine them getting whoever they are, and I have opinion about that, but they still have that carcass.
Oh, absolutely. You're not going to destroy a unique biological thing.
Oh, hell no, man. You'd have to be a freaking fool to do that.
What are the odds you're going to get another one?
Bingo.
Right.
Exactly.
So yes, that stuff still exists.
Okay.
But
right.
but the slides thing has nothing to do with that. And the other thing we didn't get to was that Jaime Maussan was saying, I will not believe it until a second picture shows up. The second picture was found. It was posted to the internet in 2008, so clearly it wasn't a fake, although they said it was Photoshop, but it wasn't. And then the Park Service down at Mesa Verde, or Montezuma's Castle down at the Four Corners area of the Southwest, Friday evening, dumped a whole bunch of documents to researcher Shepard Johnson, initiated it through FOIA, and a lot of other researchers got it, and he sent it out to a lot of people. And now we've got a picture of we've got a whole description of the body based on the scientific analysis done by the guys who actually handled it, as opposed to guys who were looking at a picture. We have another picture that was taken in 1938 of it. So we have now not just one additional photograph, we've got two additional photographs, and it's clear exactly what it is. It's this poor, unfortunate child who's being exploited in today's arena as an alien creature, and it's not. It's a poor, unfortunate child who died 1,000 years ago.
Well, and I go back to intent. I don't think that's accidental. There were people behind it that knew the truth.
Oh yeah.
And yet it was being. I like the word exploited, if you will.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it. I always thought of this, and I said it long before May 5th. I said, I always thought of this as alien autopsy light. They didn't go to all the trouble to fabricate a big thing They didn't go to all the trouble to film it so that it would look better. But they had these 2 slides, and I asked repeatedly, how do you get from pictures on the slide to alien creatures? How do you make that leap?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody had an answer for that.
Right.
No, and that's a very valid question because, a photograph is one thing. Is there any DNA to support that? I mean, exactly.
If aliens, in fact, have DNA.
Well,
Right.
I don't know. But what other physical evidence do you have other than a slide or a photograph?
And you don't have a provenance for it. You don't know when it was taken. You don't know who took it. You don't know the circumstances of it being taken. You have no chain of custody, so you can't prove the Rays ever owned it. You've got absolutely nothing but these 2 slides, and the one in the middle is missing. You've got a placard that I believe had to be manipulated so that it wouldn't be read. Until Adam Dew put on his website, I think on May 6th, the next day, he put up a better quality picture of a better quality scan of this, and it was hours later it was decoded saying, here is a mummified child.
Right. Guys, we've reached our break here. We're listening to Paying Radio on the Inception Radio Network. We have on Kevin Randle talking the Roswell slides. We're going to open the lines at 888-919-2355 if you have a question for Kevin, and throw some questions up in chat, and we will pass them on to Kevin. Hang in there, everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
All right, nobody wants to hear mainstream Big Brother radio feeding you the same political point of view, playing the same music produced by the same DJ, broadcasting over what has become the stale and boring airwaves that is FM and AM radio. Whatever happened to the glory days of radio where you could drive town to town and hear a new voice, a new opinion, a new perspective, something fresh? Well, those glory days are back with Truth Thunders Radio live every Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Join us for a cornucopia of a show that focuses on ufology, cryptozoology, psychic phenomenon, the role of modern technology, and the effects of social media on the paranormal. Or you can simply sign in to the Inception Radio Network to access past interviews from the likes of Jesse Marcel, Jose Escamilla, Ben Davidson of Suspicious Observers, Bill and Nancy Burns, Chad and Alta Dillard, and so much more. My name is Art Webb, and I invite you to join me along with Mark Schwartz, the CEO of Truth Finders, every Wednesday here live on the Inception Radio Network.
Howdy. This is Joe Mars. I'm inviting you to tune in to Epic Voyages, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday nights, right here on Inception Radio Network. To find out more about Epic and how you can become a member, visit epicvoyagers.com. That's EPICVOYAGERS.com.
Hello, everyone. Lorian Fenton here, host of the California MUFON radio show, asking if you'd like special access to exclusive and amazing information about UFOs, the paranormal, and all things unexplained. If you're nodding yes, then join IRN's Insider Club. As an Insider Club member, you'll get an all-access pass to premier Inception Radio Network content for only $4.99 a month. This includes live UFO and paranormal conferences, live streaming UFO skywatches, exclusive IRN radio and TV productions, and of course, Paying Radio with MJ and Ken Storch. So don't wait any longer. Visit InceptionRadioNetwork.com and click on Member Login to join IRN's Insider Club and get your VIP access today.
Do you have a smartphone? If so, Inception Radio Network is the best app for you. Available on iTunes, Android, Samsung, and most other app stores. Just search Inception Radio Network. With the app you can listen live, check out podcasts of recent and past shows, view our videos, see what shows are coming up, who the guests are, and, via the chat room, send live questions to those guests. You know it makes sense. Check your app store now. Inception Radio Network. I'll see you there.
Écoutez Pong Radio tous les dimanches à 21h Eastern, uniquement sur Inception Radio Network.
listeners. This is MJ saying hello and sharing an awesome secret I discovered. It's called DreamNuage.com. Fresh, raw, organic ingredients are used to create all their products. They are made in very small batches to ensure quality and freshness. Handmade in the USA, each product is created with care and with the finest organic ingredients. There are no preservatives, dyes, or chemicals in any product. Stop by Dream Nuage and relax. That's DreamNuage.com. Simple, raw, organic. Welcome back to Paying Radio. Tonight we have on Kevin Randle, and of course, you guys always miss the good stuff on the break because we had a great discussion. And one of these nights we will leave the mic open on the commercial as bonus coverage. But I'm going to hand it over to Ken. Ken had a question or had a comment for Kevin.
Hey, MJ, I have to apologize to our listeners because we had a hell of a discussion at the break time. Okay, and I was agreeing with Kevin Randle up to a certain point. And the question that I asked him that we got into such a good debate was, does this, and Lorna, turn up the volume, okay, that did this incident, and I don't remember exactly how I phrased it, but this incident with the slides, was it detrimental to the study of ufology? Did it hurt the issue of flying saucers and ET? And Kevin said,
I think it's going to.
Okay, go ahead.
Simply because people always remember the screw-ups. And what I said was, if you remember, Bill Buckner was a great baseball player, but everybody remembers the ball rolling between his legs in the World Series game, and was the downfall of his team in that World Series. They don't remember all the brilliant plays he might have made. They remember that one screw-up. And I think with ufology, this got a lot of play in the UFO community. I was going to say ufological community, but I didn't want to say a big word.
I'm glad you did that because I would never, ever be able to do it.
Yeah. It got a lot of interest in the ufological community. And the one thing I noticed on my blog is that when there was a discussion about the slides going on, I was getting, 3 times the number of hits that I would get in a normal week. So it was something of great interest in the UFO community. But the problem is people are going to remember that, not remember that the people who brought it down were members of the UFO community. The skeptics on one side, but amongst the skeptics who deblurred the placard and got the information were a number of people who were leaning toward the believer side as well. So they had a coalition of opinion from across the spectrum. And I think that is something, had that been done earlier, had that information been allowed out earlier, we wouldn't have had this great fiasco in Mexico City.
Okay, and excuse me,
yes?
And ladies and gentlemen, that's where during the break I said I disagreed. Everything that he said up to and you said it again, Kevin.
Yes,
and
I
think the point that I'm going to make that makes my position where I disagree with you, I think you nailed it when you said that there were members of the, how did you pronounce it, ufological society?
Yes. No, community.
Community. Those of us that do serious research, I'm more of an investigator, but those of us that dig into the meat and potatoes of the topic, okay, we're not necessarily me, but there were those of us that became part of the skeptic and pointed out that it was what it was, that we found the truth, and I think that gives us, those of us, credibility. I think that
would get credit for it.
We won't get credit about it if you don't. Hey, if you don't throw it back in the opposition face. When
I can't tell you how many times we have solved a case. The believer side of the community has solved the case. The skeptics get credit for it, and then they use that to hammer us in the ground. And this,
shame on us for allowing that to happen, okay? Because I think that every time something like that shows up at CNN or on the blogs, I think I think it has to be addressed, okay? And whether they read it or believe it or not is not relevant. What is relevant is the fact, the truth. And the truth has no agenda. And it's people like you, I'm going to throw myself in there on this one, that were raising all kinds of questions and became skeptical for the very reasons that you pointed out. And to allow the opposition, if you will, to throw it back in our face, I think
But we shouldn't think of them as the opposition.
Well, how would I think of them?
That's the problem we've had all along in this whole thing. There's been the skeptics at one end and the believers at the other end. And they argue with each other, and the truth gets lost in the arguments. And I think what this demonstrated to us, especially with the Roswell Slides research group, which was 10 or 15 different people from all parts of that spectrum working together to get an answer. And I think that's what we need to do in the UFO community at this point, is remember that lesson and form a coalition or whatever. And I'm not thinking of anything, no organizational structure or anything like that, but a coalition of people who get together to look at the cases. And it may not be the same guys on every case. It may be other people in other arenas getting together, but working together rather than I've got my little piece of evidence and I'm not going to allow you to see it.
I agree 100,000%. Now we're back on the same wavelength.
That's what we need to do, and that's
I agree.
That's going to eliminate this problem that we see where a case is solved and the people who find the evidence rarely get credit for it. It's always, well, the skeptics did it.
But once again, now shame on us, okay? Because we allow that to happen. If we don't correct and reset.
The other problem is, and the Coin helicopter case is the best example I can think of the skeptics throw something out, some solution, and the news media, for example, not wanting to be considered dumb, accept that explanation because they're not so stupid as to believe in alien visitation. But in the Coin helicopter case, I was reading Philip Klass's analysis of it. And he said some things in there that I knew just flat out were not true. Because Coin and Jesse, who were the pilots, had Army helicopter pilots, had gone through the same training I had. We all were Army helicopter pilots. And so when Klass said that Coin had inadvertently pushed the collective full down, and that was why they were in this descent, and Jesse realized that he pulled up on the collective to stop the descent, and I really realized immediately that would never happen, because there's a procedure that's beat into you, you might say, that if I'm flying the aircraft and you see something that endangers the aircraft, you say, I've got it. The guy holding the controls releases him and says, you've got it, and he takes over flying the aircraft. Jesse would have never pulled up on the collective without announcing it and taking control of the aircraft away from Coin, who was the pilot in command at the time. So Klass says something, well, I talked to a guy who was a helicopter pilot, doesn't tell us what his credentials are, doesn't tell us where he got his helicopter training, or he had ridden in helicopters. We don't know if he piloted the darn things. But I knew that this would never happen. And the argument, well, this would be a stressful situation because they're dealing with a flying saucer type thing, and they're all stressed out about that. I'm thinking, nothing is more stressful than combat. And we followed that procedure in combat, for crying out loud. We all knew to do that.
Right.
And these guys had the same training I did.
Right.
I think, given the timing of this, we probably went through flight school about the same time.
Hey, Kevin, it's reflexive. I mean, you don't have to think about it. It's something that people know exactly.
That's the other thing. I had an engine failure while I was in Vietnam, and I'm sitting there in the aircraft thinking, here's what I need to do, going through the procedure in my mind, and I'd already done it instinctively. Everything was done. He said, got to lower the clutch. Right. I'd already done that. Roll off the throttle. Already done that. Done all that stuff that you needed to do. Look at the gas producer to make sure it is the engine has quit. If it's at zero, you pretty well know it's quit. And there's really no restart procedure for all the kids we were flying.
And when I had a run in with...
To listen to the rest of this interview, please go to InceptionRadioNetwork.com and register for the Insiders Club. What is the Insiders Club? The Insiders Club is our premium content, what you've just listened to. Now, what you've just listened to is a preview of that premium content. The Insiders Club is how we pay the bills. It's how you support IRN. You join forces with IRN to get the truth out there. Now, a lot of our content is free. I mean, most of our content is free. All of our live shows are free. If you go to our archives, the vast majority of our archives are for free. But to pay the bills, to help make sure this network stays alive, stays viable, we offer those who really love our radio station, our network, and our shows, an ability to support our network and become a part of IRN. Actually join forces in helping us get the truth out there. Now, how do you do this again? You go to InceptionRadioNetwork.com and you subscribe for the Insiders Club, and you'll have access to all of our archives, including this show, the rest of the show. A faster way of getting there, go to the description below this video and click on the link. And like I said, you'll be joining forces with IRN. You'll have availability of all of our content, and we really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Lorian Fenton here, host of the California MUFON radio show, asking if you'd like special access to exclusive and amazing information about UFOs, the paranormal, and all things unexplained. If you're nodding yes, then join IRN's Insider Club. As an Insider Club member, you'll get an all-access pass to premier Inception Radio Network content for only $4.99 a month. This includes live UFO and paranormal conferences, live streaming UFO skywatches, exclusive IRN radio and TV productions, and of course, paying radio with MJ and Ken Storch. So don't wait any longer. Visit InceptionRadioNetwork.com and click on Member Login to join IRN's Insider Club and get your VIP access today.
To listen to the rest of this interview, please go to InceptionRadioNetwork.com and register for the Insiders Club. What is the Insiders Club? The Insiders Club is our premium content, what you've just listened to. Now, what you've just listened to is a preview of that premium content. The Insiders Club is how we pay the bills. It's how you support IRN. You join forces with IRN to get the truth out there. Now, a lot of our content is free. I mean, most of our content is free. All of our live shows are free. If you go to our archives, the vast majority of our archives are for free. But to pay the bills, to help make sure this network stays alive, stays viable, we offer those who really love our radio station, our network, and our shows, an ability to support our network and become a part of IRN. Actually join forces in helping us get the truth out there. Now, how do you do this again? You go to InceptionRadioNetwork.com and you subscribe for the Insiders Club, and you'll have access to all of our archives, including this show, the rest of the show. A faster way of getting there, go to the description below this video and click on the link. And like I said, you'll be joining forces with IRN. You'll have availability of all of our content, and we really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Lorian Fenton here, host of the California MUFON radio show, asking if you'd like special access to exclusive and amazing information about UFOs, the paranormal, and all things unexplained. If you're nodding yes, then join IRN's Insider Club. As an Insider Club member, you'll get an all-access pass to premier Inception Radio Network content for only $4.99 a month. This includes live UFO and paranormal conferences, live streaming UFO skywatches, exclusive IRN radio and TV productions, and of course, Paying Radio with MJ and Ken Storch. So don't wait any longer. Visit InceptionRadioNetwork.com and click on Member Login to join IRN's Insider Club and get your VIP access today.
To listen to the rest of this interview, please go to InceptionRadioNetwork.com and register for the Insiders Club. What is the Insiders Club? The Insiders Club is our premium content, what you've just listened to. Now, what you've just listened to is a preview of that premium content. The Insiders Club is how we pay the bills. It's how you support IRN. You join forces with IRN to get the truth out there. Now, a lot of our content is free. I mean, most of our content is free. All of our live shows are free. If you go to our archives, the vast majority of our archives are for free. But to pay the bills, to help make sure this network stays alive, stays viable, we offer those who really love our radio station, our network, and our shows, an ability to support our network and become a part of IRN. Actually join forces in helping us get the truth out there. Now, how do you do this again? You go to InceptionRadioNetwork.com and you subscribe for the Insiders Club, and you'll have access to all of our archives, including this show, the rest of the show. A faster way of getting there, go to the description below this video and click on the link. And like I said, you'll be joining forces with IRN. You'll have availability of all of our content, and we really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Lorian Fenton here, host of the California MUFON radio show, asking if you'd like special access to exclusive and amazing information about UFOs, the paranormal, and all things unexplained. If you're nodding yes, then join IRN's Insider Club. As an Insider Club member, you'll get an all-access pass to premier Inception Radio Network content for only $4.99 a month. This includes live UFO and paranormal conferences, live streaming UFO skywatches, exclusive IRN radio and TV productions, and of course, Paying Radio with MJ and Ken Storch. So don't wait any longer. Visit InceptionRadioNetwork.com and click on Member Login to join IRN's Insider Club and get your VIP access today.